Fewer New Zealanders are saying I do than ever before. New figures from Stats NZ show just over 18,000 couples tied the knot or entered civil unions in 2024, a 4% drop from the year before and 14% lower than the 1990s. Relationship counsellor Margot Regan joins us now for more. Margot, good morning. So good to have you on the program. Why do you think fewer couples are deciding to say I do?
You know, when I looked into the stats on this, it was really interesting. It was actually the number of first marriages are maintaining pretty stable at around the 13,500 mark. Now, there is a slight drop, but it was the number of remarriages that have really dropped. So you're looking at about 7,500, say in the early 2000s, now down to about 4,500.
All right. So in terms of the reasons, though, that people aren't going to the altar, what are your thoughts around that?
I think it's following trends in general, whereby people are older when they marry, people are older when they decide to separate. People may have been, we're seeing a change in de facto relationships are becoming more acceptable now. There's a move away from religion affiliation, and we're seeing that in the stats as well, whereby, in the latest census, there was about 51.8% of people that didn't choose any religion affiliation, whereas, back in the early 2000s, you were probably looking at about 30%. So that's one of the reasons. I think there's also economic reasons. Women, there's a changing role in women in society. Like the 70s wasn't that long ago, in the 80s, whereby women couldn't get a mortgage without a male guarantor, or if you're a woman in the civil service, and you decided to have a child, you were financially dependent on someone else because you didn't have the same employment opportunities that women would have today.
Yeah, societal norms are changing, right? And also the way that the next generation's coming through, they're starting to think differently as well. But we probably have to throw in their finances as well. I wonder whether that's actually having an impact on people as well. We all know everybody's, a lot of people are doing it tough at the moment.
Absolutely. You can just look at people, want a home before they get married. People are putting their career and their education. You can look at housing market in New Zealand. Back in the 90s, it might have been 2 or 3 times an average person's salary. Today, it's probably 8 or 9 times an average salary.
Do you think marriage will become popular again, Margot, at all?
I think we'll probably see more people into de facto relationships. I see that increasing. I'm not sure, probably continuing the trend that it's going in at the moment is what I see happening.
And because you're a relationship expert, what do married people or people in relationships come to see you about the most?
Ooh. They come at different stages. So maybe the kids are really young. They've got 1, 2, 3 kids under 4, and just they didn't realize it was going to be as tough as what it actually is. And then also when the kids kind of turn 17, 18, they've stayed together to co-parent the kids. And then they're looking at kind of an existential crisis. How do we want the next 10 or 15 years to look? Our identity has been based on being mom or being dad, and this has been our focus. They come at that stage kind of reevaluating their relationship. They've got time to reflect on it and think about what they want from a relationship and from each other and what they want for the next 10 or 15 years.
How do you navigate people through that? Because I'm thinking about, we all want a lasting and loving relationship. And things like children can throw, a spanner in the works. So how do you navigate people through that time?
So one of the biggest things people come for is a breakdown in communication. Resentments have started to build up. They haven't done conflict well, and people, there's a risk that they'll turn away from the relationship as opposed to being emotionally available for each other and knowing what each other wants. People come out snappy and critical, but underneath it there's often a need. Like, I feel lonely. So a typical one might be, you work too much, I never see you, you don't help with the kids. But what's underneath that frustration is a desire. I feel lonely. I want to feel that we're a team. Do you love me? Do you want me? But this all gets tangled up in communication issues.
Yeah, I love that. This is very real, isn't it? So just finally then, for people navigating relationships, and I guess it doesn't really matter at what point you're at, what would be some things, and I hate, we normally say, you know, what are your top tips, but what are the things that you would say for people to prioritise within their relationships?
So I would say every day focus on what it is that you appreciate about your partner. I often say when couples come to me, it can become a bit like, you know, when you make up your mind to leave a job, you start looking at things. That's another reason I should leave. That's another reason. Our reticular activating system starts to find things that affirm our belief. So we want to start to turn that tide and deposit more positive experiences in the bank account. So reflect on, what is it that I appreciate about my partner? What is it that I appreciate about being in a relationship? And tell your partner that. Also do check-ins: green, orange, red, blue. How am I traveling? Green, I'm calm and relaxed. My nervous system is calm. Blue, I'm emotionally distant. I'm shut off from you. Red, I'm hypervigilant. I'm a bit panicky. I'm a bit anxious. So check in. How are you going today? What's the weather report?
So good. I feel like I've just been in a session. Margot Regan, a relationship counsellor, joining us this morning. Really appreciate your time and your insights.
Margot,
well.
I love it when you ask what is the main cause of disruption in a relationship. Both answers were kids. Young kids, old kids. That's the biggest thing that's going to throw it out there.